Hello everyone, thank you for checking out another video here on Show, Style, and Spirit. I am about to recap for you The Real Housewives of New Jersey Season 12, Episode 5, The Jersey Shore Showdown. So time is flying by. We're already on Episode 5 of this most recent season of Real Housewives of New Jersey, so let's jump right in. So the episode opens up with a sunset. It's actually evening, and of course they're still on the Jersey Shore doing a little mini cash trip, and the group is going to Jennifer's shore house for dinner. Well, Bill, Jennifer's husband, he's very standoffish because Margaret is there. So Margaret points out in her confessional that, it is awkward between her and Bill on the Jersey Shore during this trip. However, she said, my beef is not with Bill. It's always been about Jennifer being a hypocrite, judging me for my affair when her husband cheated. So Margaret is basically saying it's okay for you to give grace to your husband Bill, but you're not gracious towards anyone else who makes the mistake of cheating. So I was actually glad that Margaret clarified that in her confessional, because man, her venom is so strong. It just seemed like the smoke was for both Jennifer and Bill. But I'm sure, Bill isn't still enthused about being collateral damage. Whenever, your mistakes are brought to the forefront, it's never a good feeling, right? So for this moment, this episode, I do have some compassion for Bill. So at Jennifer's house for dinner, Melissa brings up how she and Jen have had beef, and that Jen kind of goes for the jugular. Jen replied that she didn't think Melissa would get so offended by her Instagram post where she called Joe a crook. Now we're actually going to put a pin in that conversation because these two circle back and square up a little later. Okay, so now we have Teresa and Louie. They show up, okay? And when it comes to Teresa's boyfriend, Louie, Margaret is like a dog with a bone. I swear, that lady, once something is in her head, she does not let it go. So, and I feel like Margaret's match when it comes to not letting something go is Jennifer. Because, Jennifer will meet with Margaret and say, well, you just really hurt me when you brought up my husband's affair, how he cheated on me. And in that same energy, Margaret is applying to Teresa and Louie's relationship with the video that Louie made that, everyone found to be creepy. But she's like a dog with a bone. Like, I'm sorry, you would think that she wanted Louie the way she keeps trying to make Teresa and Louie address it. And I actually understand why Teresa is so annoyed, and in this scene Teresa starts getting heated and she starts going off. Totally understand. But first, let's talk about how Teresa denied what we saw at the end of episode 4. Remember at the end of episode 4, Teresa was staying at Jennifer's shore house, and a producer approached Teresa and said that Teresa's boyfriend Louie was uncomfortable about being around the group because he could tell that they had been talking about him. And Teresa got upset and said, you know what, I'm leaving, talking about leaving the shore and leaving the trip. So when they arrive, it's that evening, the beginning of episode 5, at Jennifer's house for dinner. Margaret brings up, Jennifer told us that you were upset and you were talking about leaving. And Teresa denied it. She said, what? No, I didn't. And it's like with Teresa, they didn't see the footage, but us viewers, we saw the footage. You know that once the season starts airing, your castmates are going to see the footage. Why even try to, I guess the word would be lie, or try to gaslight, just try to change the truth? Why even try to do that? Like it's going to come out. So I just thought that was so interesting. But yeah, she tried to say that she did not storm off. And so then, Margaret brings up, Louie, everyone is talking about this video, and then Teresa starts yelling at Margaret. Louie interjects and he asks if they could all talk calmly. Now, what do you all think about Louie's calm demeanor? For the most part, I find it very refreshing because I feel like regardless of gender, race, just so many people are just so quick to jump from 0 to 100. And the way Louie is so self-controlled and he is able to just bring his calmness to the forefront in the midst of people yelling, it's quite admirable. And then a part of me is hoping that I'm wrong, but a part of me thinks like, is this really sincere? Is this real? You know, so only time will tell. But he's extremely calm in the midst of, you know, the fiery Teresa. And then he said something to Margaret like, you know, on your best day, you could intimidate me. And Margaret says in her confessional, does this guy really think that I'm trying to intimidate him? So I'm not sure why Louie said that. I don't know if he thought perhaps it was like complimentary to let Margaret know like, hey, you can intimidate me. That's not like a normal statement that you would make to someone, especially even to be complimentary. But I think that's what Louie was trying to do. I think he was trying to diffuse the situation because he didn't want Margaret smoke. So he's like, you know, listen, you intimidate me, you know, but I just think that was kind of unnecessary. But yeah, that's what he said. So that's another reason why it's like, is he really this calm? Or, you know, I just hope he's not a con, you know what I'm saying? But I have to believe, you know, Teresa is an adult. She's a parent. She's experienced a lot of life. I'm sure she has that discernment to know when a man is just, you know, it's just all game. So we'll have to see. But I would want the relationship to work, you know? So now here's more confusion with Louie, okay? So Louie said he made the creepy video because he hurt a woman whom he was dating when he would not marry her. But both Margaret and Jackie said in their confessional that the video that they watched, Louie did propose to a woman. So I mean, they're confused, I'm confused. I didn't see the video. I'm sure if I go onto Twitter, I could capture it. It's almost like, do I really want to watch it? But it's so interesting how there's like two vast comparisons of what happened in the video. My guess is that Louie said in front of Teresa that he made that video because he didn't want to hurt a woman that he did not want to marry, because he did not want to further embarrass or hurt Teresa, that he had been in a relationship that had gotten that far to where he was ready to get married. Or perhaps he's made it clear to Teresa that he's not interested in getting married again. So in order to remain consistent with that desire, he's making her think like, oh, I didn't want to marry that woman either, and that's why I made the video, so she wouldn't feel bad. I'm guessing his response had everything to do with Teresa. Okay, so Teresa was saying that basically Louie lied about the video, allegedly. So then they rehashed the Margaret Jennifer beef. You know, it's really exhausting at this point. I would say, like, in my opinion, a best practice for reality TV show producers and the cast, if you don't want folks to think that your show is scripted and fake, don't keep rehashing the same beefs. Let it be as organic as possible. If y'all don't have no beefs and y'all ain't got nothing going on, let the cameras capture that, but don't do anything fake and just keep rehashing the same argument, the same disagreement, the same beef. Because like the viewers, we're not idiots, you know, and we don't want to feel like you're just faking it to make it. And that's kind of the vibe that I get when the same beef is rehashed over and over. So, but it is important to say that when Margaret and Jennifer rehashed their beef, that spirit of arguing, it spilled over to Melissa and Jen. So it shifted from Jennifer and Margaret to Melissa and Jennifer. Melissa calls Jen a hater and said, "You called my husband a crook." Jen stood up and Melissa stood up and walked up to her. So Jennifer, she escalated it physically, and then Melissa, you know, met her, okay? Hands were in each other's faces, and I think that Jennifer grabbed Melissa's wrist. So then, of course, the cast and the producers came outside and broke it up. And Jennifer, told Joe and Melissa to get out. And, so as a result, Margaret and her husband Joe, of course, Melissa and her husband Joe, and there was another couple. It wasn't Dolores, it was, Jackie and her husband. They all got up and left. So Jackie says she can't believe Jen got in Melissa's face. So Frank Catalina said that in his confessional, he just decided to stay out of it. So now we're into the next morning after those couples, 3 couples left Jennifer's house. And so they're all talking about what happened. And Frank Catalina said he's just learned to stay out of women's business. I love Frank. He's just like, that macho man, that old school. He takes care of his family. He's gonna be respected. He's very much in the household. I wish he and Dolores remained married, but it's all good. He just seems like a great guy. Jen expressed to her husband Bill, this is important. She said to Bill, Melissa's coming at me, Margaret is coming at me, and Bill, you're my husband and you're like in the distance, like you're away. And Bill's just basically like, so what, you want me to get involved? And then, then it's gonna escalate. But I think she just wants to feel supported, Bill. At least stand a feet away from her, 1 foot away from her. He was like several feet away. He was nowhere near when Melissa walked up. If they had a fought, he would not have been able to break it up because he was nowhere near his wife. I get embarrassment. I get regret that you cheated on your wife. I get that you choose to be on a reality TV show and those things come out. But if you decide to still stay in the marriage, support your wife as she films this show, when people are throwing those darts at her, Bill, and it's because of you, you need to back her up, son. That's all I'm saying. So Jen was absolutely correct, and I'm so glad that she, expressed that to her husband. So I can only assume that they have decent communication. Again, like I've said in earlier videos, I haven't watched The Real Housewives of New Jersey in several seasons. Like I remember Teresa's daughters when they were little, and she would always say, Melania. That's how long it's been for me. So I don't know how well Bill and Jennifer communicate, but it sounds like when Jennifer has an issue, she is able to express that to her husband. So that's good. Back at Melissa's house, so Melissa Gorga, they talked about how Teresa will remain Jen's friend after her argument with Melissa. Now, my opinion on this will probably be unpopular, but I don't see what's wrong with Teresa remaining Jen's friend. I mean, let's keep it real. I don't think Teresa and Melissa are super close. I don't think either one subscribe to some idea that Teresa and Melissa have to be 100% down for each other just because they are related by marriage. But I'm also not close with my sisters, so it's natural for me to feel this way. So if you feel like totally Teresa should have Melissa's back in the form of not being friends with Jennifer, please, let me know in the comments respectfully. I'd love to hear your perspective on this. At the end of the day, I feel like you should surround yourself with people who respect and support you regardless of blood relation. Okay, so then the episode ends with a party at Tiki and Tracy Shore House. I believe that was the house where they were. The color is pink, and they have a beautiful pink floral background for pictures, and they have like a pink dessert bar. So it was like a table with the pink decorations, and it looked like lots of desserts were there. I thought it was, really cute, really festive. Teresa tries to convince her brother Joe that Jen is sorry for calling him a crook in an Instagram post. Joe says, if Jen was truly sorry, she would have at least texted me by now. She would be trying to clean that up. And I do feel like Joe, has a point. So if he hasn't gotten an explicit, Joe, I'm sorry for calling you a crook. I exaggerated, it was a bad choice of words. I was just being mean. I'm human, I make mistakes. If she hasn't done all that, then she might not be sorry about it, I don't really think that it's for Teresa to try to convince Joe that Jen is sorry for calling him a crook, I think that's totally on Jen for her to do. So I didn't sense that Jen is sorry for disrespecting Joe. Bravo actually did a flashback of before she made the Instagram post. Jen was talking to a woman who said that her husband worked with Joe Gorga, but Joe never paid him. And so she was basically saying that that was the root cause, that was the source of her calling him a crook in an Instagram post. Now, one thing that I'm going to say about that is that perhaps the husband who said he worked for Joe Gorga, maybe he should be the one trying to call that man a crook. But, you know, Jennifer was basically getting third-hand information and then, you know, drawing an opinion about it and calling that man a crook. You know, so I just kind of feel like it's kind of unfounded. I get that that woman said that to you, but do you really know? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, let me know your opinions about Jen saying that in an Instagram post, because she kind of inserted herself, and then, you know, she's basing it off of what someone else said. Let that husband, let him be a man and approach Joe and say, yo, where's my money? Okay? So on a side note, earlier in episode 5, in Dolores' confessional, she told a really funny story about when she and Frank were young and they were dating. You know, sometimes they would hang out and he would stay the night over at her parents' house when she still lived at home. She said, of course, her parents were not going to let them sleep in the same room, in the same bed. So he would sleep in the front living room with a mattress on the floor. And Dolores said one night when he was over there, her mother decided to pour holy water on him, and he thought it was their dog peeing on them. I just thought that was such a cute story. Dolores and Frank just get back together. Oh my gosh. I just think that they would make a great couple. They already have the kids together, but you know, I don't know their relationship, so who am I to tell them what to do with their lives? But please let me know your thoughts in the comments, you know, what you thought about this episode. Thanks again for watching. I really appreciate the support. I love creating videos. I love, you know, a lot of reality TV shows. I find it to be entertaining, and I like to give my opinion on it. And definitely share yours. You know, we can respectfully converse about different things, and you know, it's a good time. So please subscribe and please share this video. Take good care. Bye-bye.